Good evening, everybody, and welcome here as we're under the lights, getting ready for knockout qualifying for our first chase race of the season here in the NNSCRA Hersheys Cup Series. Getting ready for knockout qualifying here. 20 drivers battling for 7 spots in tonight's main event. That's right, 20 drivers as opposed to the usual 21 that we've had as the season's progressed, and now with the chase beginning, one team has actually folded up and is looking towards Season 2, and that is the 70 team out of ML Racing of James Qualls. They will not be taking part in any more of the knockout qualifying sessions for the remainder of the season. So, only 20 drivers now, as we're looking at Grayson Acavito. He was the first off pit road, along with Joshua Michaels. I'm going to beg your indulgence during this knockout session. I think I've got a cold coming on, but I'm not certain, and so I'm going to pop a Werther's Original Mint into my mouth here, and there may be some pauses in my commentary as I'm currently sucking it, but apologize for that. So now for these drivers, they are obviously out of the hunt for the championship with the chase beginning. They really didn't have much of a shot. The only ones that really were close to having a shot would have been Michael Norman, Joshua Michaels, and potentially Chris Dowd, of getting into the top 35 in the points and then trying to make it to the top 30 in points. However, only 2 of them had a win. Michaels at Pocono, Michael Norman at Dover. So they were the only 2 that really had a shot out of these drivers in knockout qualifying to get into the chase for the championship. But really, none of the drivers that were in the top 30, were outside the top 35 in points after race 5 really ever were able to get up to 35th in the standings. Right now, Acavito is the fastest on track, 31.257. Joshua Michaels not too far behind, 31.323. So for these drivers now, it's just all about trying to make the main event and get a trip to victory lane. So far in this field, we have a total of 5 drivers who are outside the top 35 in points that have already been to victory lane. Joshua Michaels, Cody Lamas last week at M&M's, Sam McMillan, Stephen Pollard III, and Michael Norman. As Joseph Srigley to the top of the leaderboard, the 05 running at 31.007. Let's see where he's at. There he is. Actually, he and the 46 of Chris Dowd are drafting with each other, trying to put down fast lap times. Dowd at this moment is 4th fastest with a 31.131. Dallas McIntosh now the fastest on track at 30.785, but I wonder if these 2 with drafting, if they're going to lay down a even better lap. And they just jumped to 2nd and 3rd. 30.8 for Strigley, 30.9 for Chris Dowd. Zach Flickinger, Joshua Michaels, Sean Galligan, and now Galligan just jumped up to 5th place. Kyle Matthews just jumped up to 7th with about a minute and a quarter remaining in this session. Sam McMillan just jumped up to 4th place and now goes to 5th as Zach Flickinger jumped up to 4th. So Grayson Acavito is now on the outside looking in. He's down to 10th. And Joshua Michaels sits in the final transfer spot. Let's find that she's at number 16 Ford of Dallas McIntosh. There he is, going 3 wide with last week's winner Cody Lamas and Kyle Matthews. Sean Galligan right in that mix as well. Racing it up here, and if they're going 3 wide in knockout Q, just think what kind of racing we're going to have here when the main event comes around. Galligan just jumped up to 7th place. Kyle Matthews now on the outside looking in. And nobody in this foursome going to make any difference on their lap. Looks like Zach Flickinger may have just displaced Sean Galligan for 6th. Galligan now down in 7th with about 7 seconds remaining. It's going to come down, I think, between the 13 and the 09. And the 13 hold off Kyle Matthews. Can Matthews best his lap of 31.059 this time by? Let's see. 31.301. He did not beat it. The only other driver I think has a shot could be Seth Cole. He just beat his lap, 31.126, but that's not anywhere close to getting to either Kyle Matthews or Sean Galligan, so I believe the session will come to a close. Dallas McIntosh will transfer in, along with Joseph Strigley, Sam McMillan, Joshua Michaels, Chris Dowd, Zach Flickinger, and getting the final transfer spot will be the Geico Chevrolet of Sean Galligan. Kyle Matthews going to miss out by about 24 one-thousandths of a second. One thing about these knockout qualifying sessions, especially lately, the driver that finishes 8th in the session usually misses out by just mere thousandths.
Drivers.
And there you go. The standings are official. McIntosh, Strigley, Sam McMillan, Joshua Michaels, Chris Dowd, Zach Flickinger, and Sean Galligan will all make the main event. Only 2 of those drivers have been to victory lane already this season, the teammates of McMillan and Michaels. So for McIntosh, Strigley, Dowd, Flickinger, Galligan, they're all looking to make something happen here tonight, get their first win of the season. Just missing out, Kyle Matthews, Seth Cole, Matt McIntyre, Johnson Deal, Cody Lamas will not be able to go for 2 in a row as he failed to qualify tonight. Also Zachary Fitzwater, Grace Nacavito, Jason Nelson, Austin Geit, Michael Norman, Johnny Gardner, Stephen Pollard III, and Brandon Gonzalez all failed to make the main event show here tonight at Chicagoland. Speaking of that, though, it's time to go chase racing. Our first race of the chase for the championship in the Hersheys Cup Series is about ready to go green. Let's head there now. And good evening, everybody, and welcome here as we get ready for the first race of the chase for the Hersheys Cup Series Championship. Here tonight under the lights at Chicagoland, we're getting ready to go speedway racing, where we can expect to see 2 and maybe even 3 wide racing all the way through the field. 12 drivers come into this race with a chance to be leaving the season finale as the Hersheys Cup Series champion. Tonight is their first step towards that goal. Tristan Folks will line up on the pole position, a non-chaser trying to pick up his first win of the season, so I apologize there, had a little bit of a burp. But alongside of him is Joshua Circuli, who is a championship contender. Circuli is actually tied with 3 other drivers for the point lead coming into this race, as I pop a mint into my mouth. Circuli tied with Jake Baskinger, Mason Powers, and yes, I can't remember the other one. Well done, me. Circuli, Powers, Baskinger, and Jeremy Jones. There we go, I got it. They're all tied for the points lead, getting the same amount of bonus points for 2 wins this season. Let's go to our rear chase here. As Ryan Acosta, our Daytona 500 winner, failed to make the chase by about, I think it was 4 points last week. And he'll line up in 3rd, looking for his 2nd win of the season, alongside of Austin LaPlante. Then you got JT Bryant, looking for his 2nd win of the season, alongside of Sean Galligan, who had to qualify his way in via knockout Q. Another former winner this season, Emmanuel Hartnett, he failed to make the chase, alongside of Ryan Madden. Then there's our next chase driver, starting in 10th, Rocco Twyman, in the 11 car. He is a total of 3 points back with 1 win this season. And alongside of him, another former winner this season, James Richardson, who did not make the chase. You'll notice that the chase drivers have a brown driver banner and a silver splitter on the front of their machines, signifying the colors of the Hersheys Cup Series. As we go back through the remainder of the field, there is Jake Baskinger, Anthony McCrory. This row holds 2 chase drivers, Benjamin Miles and Kean Eddington. Eddington winning at Darlington, Benjamin Miles winning at Kentucky. There's our winner at the road course of Yas Marina Circuit, Blaine Keys. He's in the chase. Joshua Lee with a little bit different looking Quicken Loans number 5 this for the remainder of the season, but he was one of 2 drivers who got into the chase via points without a win. Anthony McCurry was actually the other one. There is Tim Walsh, 1 win this season early on at Atlanta. Really haven't seen him challenge for a win since then, but we'll see what he does as he's in the chase. There is Noah Cars, got in via one of the wild card positions, winner at Martinsville. We'll see what he can do here. As we move further back in the final 2 rows, you've got Jeremy Jones there in the 18 car, two-time winner this season, one at Phoenix, one at Talladega. And there is Mason Powers, who ended up going 2 for 2 in 2 straight restrictor plate starts, picking up the checker flag at Tennessee, and the following week at Coca-Cola, he will start in dead last. So 2 of our two-time winners this season, 2 of our drivers tied for the points lead coming into tonight's race, starting in 40th and 42nd. We'll see how that plays out for them. As we're going to go down trackside now, get the command to fire them up here for our first chase race of the season.
Drivers, start your engines.
There is the command. We're getting ready to go. Now, there'll be 41 laps of racing here tonight. The fuel window is something between 45 to 52 laps. So the likelihood of these drivers having to make a pit stop under green, slim to none. And so qualifying was huge for these drivers in gaining them track position. The one thing I like about Chicagoland, though, it's much like Auto Club, where both the inside and the outside line can work. And we'll definitely be seeing drivers moving up, testing the higher lines, getting the better runs off of turns 2 and 4. Something like that could be the deciding factor into who's going to victory lane tonight. Also a big question, it seems like when the chase begins, chase drivers, they'll tend to go into a conservative mode. They don't want to force the issue. The chase system we're using this season is just 10 races. Whoever has the most points at the end wins the championship. There are no elimination rounds. So they are going to have to be consistent to win the championship, and that may force them to not race another non-chaser for a win in a regular situation where they would more than likely do that. They've got a championship on the line. So will we see a non-chaser or a chaser go to victory lane here tonight? We're about to find out. Tristan Folks, Joshua Circuli, get us underway. We're green flag racing at Chicagoland. First driver to test the outside line there was Anthony McCurry. He tucked back in line, and here comes Joshua Circuli way up on the outside. Gonna try and get a run here off the corner. Not gonna be able to do it as Ryan Acosta on the bottom will get the run on Tristan Folks. Tries moving him up there and tries to take the lead heading into 3. Furniture Row Chevrolet won the first non-chase race of the season. Let's see if he can win the first chase race of the season here tonight. The 3 wide further back, it's a Tweenix sandwich, and the meat in that sandwich is the Mercedes-Benz of Daniel Voiles as Trent Dunham slid up the track there, and it looked like he almost collected Daniel Voiles. That was a wonder they didn't wreck. As you look further back here, they were a lot of drivers here. Richardson and Hartnett, Trent Dunham, they were all sliding up, and look at Benjamin Miles charging to the bottom. He might have gotten on the apron. I think that killed the 25's momentum. He's going to lose a lot of spots to drivers on the outside line. Miles forcing the issue. He'll lose a spot right there to fellow chaser Rocco Twyman. Another chaser right behind him, his teammate in the 48, Blaine Keys. Further up, they're going to go 3 wide. Daniel Voiles trying to get the inside of Austin LaPlante. Can't do it. LaPlante side by side with Emmanuel Hartnett. That's for a spot just inside the top 10. And there's Trent Dunham. Nice run there for the 1 car. Our winner from Montreal a couple of weeks ago. He just slipped right by James Richardson, moved the 1 car to the 5th position. And there you see Joshua Circuli just letting these top 3 go at it. Just riding there in that 4th position. He knows that it's a ways back to the next championship competitor, which I believe right now would be the 11 of Rocco Twyman. Now he's got Trent Dunham to his inside for 4th. Meanwhile, Ryan Acosta leads the way. JT Bryant there in 2nd. Both of these drivers failed to make the chase via top 10 in points or wild card. Both had wins very early on in the season too. Acosta winning the season opener at Daytona. 2 races later, JT Bryant went to victory lane at Las Vegas. And now Trent Dunham, I'll tell you what, that 1 car is coming up to the front in a hurry. He made quick work of Richardson, made quick work of Circuli, and now he's to the inside of Tristan Folks for 3rd. How about Joshua Michaels there in the 10 car? He had to qualify his way into tonight's event. Having a great run right now is the 10 car, our winner from Pocono. Matter of fact, we got a lot of former winners right up here in the top 10. Acosta, Dunham, Richardson, Bryant, Joshua Michaels, Joshua Circuli, Lane Keys, Emmanuel Hartnett. They've all been to victory lane already this season. Tristan Foltz has not. Austin LaPlante has not. And Trent Dunham. That one car is wound up and ready to go as he's going to go to the lead. And Ryan Acosta just gets spun off the nose of Tristan Foltz, coming back up to traffic. He gets Blaine Keys. Rocco Twyman involved. Benjamin Miles, Baskinger, Kian Eddington might be in it. And they're still piling in. Championship implications here tonight at Chicagoland. Everyone trying to make their way through the wreckage. There is Benjamin Miles. I saw Blaine Keys on pit road. McCrory is crunched up on his hood. Trying to look for the chasers, but there's a number of others involved. Damage on the front of Tim Walsh. I believe Mason Powers got involved. There's Jessica Shelton smoking. There is Baskinger. There's rear and left side damage to Joshua Lee. Kian Eddington appears to have some damage, a little buckle on the hood. Rocco Twyman, a lot of damage. Oh, and now Joshua Circuli has just been wrecked. I was just about to say, it seems like the only championship competitor who didn't get involved in the wreck was Circuli, and now Circuli has been wrecked. And now they're going through the grass, and Mason Wood just spun Sean Galligan in the infield. What is going on? Tempers apparently flaring here tonight at Chicagoland. I think it might have been Emmanuel Hartnett who got into Joshua Circuli. And they're coming to pit road. The leader, Trent Dunham, is coming to pit road. And everybody is hitting pit lane. But I'm only seeing about maybe 6-7 drivers who are not damaged in any way, shape, or form. And there you see Miles, Blaine Keys, Joshua Circuli, 3 championship competitors on pit road. They had to teleport there. Number of the others are damaged. And oh my goodness, I'm telling you what, this may come down to which less damaged race car for a championship competitor finishes best. Trent Dunham down and away with his pit service, but oh my goodness, that was absolutely catastrophic. Carnage on the front straightaway. It looks like Kian Eddington may be the one chaser who may have gotten the minimal amount of damage in all of this. He's going to come off pit road, I believe, in the 5th position. So we'll see how this all situates itself out. Trent Dunham leads the way. We are 9 laps into tonight's event, and already, I believe, just about every single one of our championship competitors received damage in some way, shape, or form. Let's take a look at a replay of what happened right up at the front of the field. Well, believe it or not, this wreck starts all the way back here in the entrance to turn number 4. You can see how wide a line Ryan Acosta took. And he got up into the safer barrier. Tried to come back down, and Tristan Foltz just didn't really give him much room to be able to come back down off the wall. Spins him into the infield. Roof flaps deploy, keeping that car on the ground. Then he clips Tristan Foltz again. There's the first car to take a shot. Chaser Blaine Keys, Joseph Srigley. And then there's the purple car there of Rocco Twyman. That's a championship competitor. Wham! Right there into Foltz. Here comes Baskinger. You see Benjamin Miles further back there getting underneath his teammate Blaine Keys. There's Shelton on the bottom right. I think she hit the 17 of Foltz. And here you see him just come piling in. Now look at that orange car there in the middle. Kian Eddington. He was hitting the back of Baskinger, but I'm not really sure he really nailed him that hard. I think Tim Walsh got in the back of John Arndt. There is one other driver that I do have a question mark on, and that's that bright green car of Jeremy Jones. I don't know if he really got involved in anything. There you see him. And I don't know if he got involved or not. It looks like he got through that relatively unscathed. Also, the white car back there of Noah Cars, he actually made it through this wreck. We may be able to see further up what happened to him, because I did just see him recently come down pit road with the hood buckled up, but he got through that wreck. So let's take a look and see what was the next caution that happened, or the next wreck that happened, which I think might have started with the 27 of Joshua Circuli and the 83 of Emmanuel Hartnett. Well, this was after the leaders had taken the caution flag. Apparently, with all that wadded up traffic on the front straightaway, they had not all completely left the scene of the accident, and the leaders caught up to him And LaPlante gets into the back of Circuli, and then Circuli is going to get nailed and T-boned right here by Emmanuel Hartnett. And then the tough part for Circuli wasn't even able to drive away. Got caught there in that transfer from the racetrack to the apron and could not refire the car and drive away. Now, that did not show why the 42 of Noah Cars was all buckled up. Let's see if we can find out what happened to him. And they're going to make their way around the pace car. And, oh, there's just a stack up there, apparently, on the front straightaway. Daniel Bouchard, Mason Powers, and Holden Gluba all taking part in that. But the one car that I'm seeing that got absolutely no damage out of any of that, or if any, just some scrapes, is that M&M's Toyota Camry of Jeremy Jones. But Kean Eddington also is up in the top 5, as we saw too, so it may come down between those two to have a shot at maybe winning this first chase race of the season. Well, apparently I took too long with the replay, and we got back under green flag racing without my knowing it. JT Bryant has taken the lead over from Trent Dunham. So JT now out in front. Joshua Michaels now moves to second. Trent Dunham slips back to third. Richardson's in fourth. John Art runs in fifth. Sixth place, Austin LaPlante. Seventh place is Kean Eddington. Eighth place, Joshua Lee, so he's still in the hunt there. Ninth place will be Ryan Madden, and completing your top 10. Dallas McIntosh moving by Sam McMillan. McMillan back in 11th. 12th place, Dylan Poteet. 13th, Sean Galligan. There's Jeremy Jones. He's now moved up to 14th place. So that 18 car is coming. 15th place is going to be Mason Wood. Rocco Twyman still riding in 16th. 17th place, Mason Powers, who started this race from dead last. As cars are making pit stops here. Leon Alvarez, Carson Scott. We just saw Cooper Cyron on pit road. Also the damaged cars of Holden Gluba, Daniel Bouchard, and Noah Cars. They've been on pit road on and off during the course of this race. Drivers that are off the lead lap. Circuli is 18th, Carson Scott 19th. 20th is Leon Alvarez. They got Cooper Cyron, William Brock, Holden Gluba, Daniel Voiles, Chris Dowd. Daniel Bouchard, Pichu Lennon, Tim Walsh 28th, Dylan Young 29th, 30th is Charles Sanford, and Noah Cars is 31st. And the cars that retired from the race after all we just saw in those replays included Emmanuel Hartnett, Tristan Folks, Levi McIntyre, Anthony McCrory will finish 35th tonight. Then you got Ryan Acosta, Blaine Keys will finish 37th. Joseph Srigley, 38th, 39th place for Benjamin Miles. Jessica Shelton in 40th. Baskinger, 41st, and 42nd for Zach Flickinger. So 4 chasers are going to be behind the 8 ball to start off this chase for the championship. McCrory, who was it? McCrory, Baskinger, Benjamin Miles, and Blaine Keys. Charles Sanford will now go another lap down to the leader, JT Bryant. Bryant about to reel in Tim Walsh in the 15 car. So the battle for the highest finisher, as far as a chase competitor is concerned, right now Joshua Lee holds it in the 7th position. There is Kean Eddington. He's the 2nd highest chaser, right now scored in 9th. And then you got Jeremy Jones back here. Made his way by Sean Galligan. I believe he's now up to the 13th position. So it looks like it might come down between the 5, the 33, and the 18 now. Jeremy Jones is a 2-time winner this season, as they're working more lap traffic. As I said, Jeremy Jones is a 2-time winner this season. Kean Eddington a 1-time winner. Joshua Lee hasn't visited victory lane yet this season. So for Joshua Lee to take over the point standings heading into next week, he would have to finish a total of 7 spots ahead of Jeremy Jones and 4 spots ahead of Kean Eddington. Right now, with where Lee is running, right now in the 7th spot, Eddington is 11 spots back, so right now he would be ahead of Kean Eddington in the point standings. And Jones is running 14th. So he would be ahead of Jeremy Jones in the point stands. However, Jones and Eddington right now would be tied 1 point back from Joshua Lee right now. And Lee's looks like he may lose a spot here to Sam McMillan. So if my calculations are correct with where they're running right now, Joshua Lee, Jeremy Jones, and Kean Eddington would all be tied for the points lead heading into next week. But there's still about 20 laps to go, so there's still plenty that could happen as you still see more damaged machines just coming to pit road trying to repair their machines, keep them running, holding Blue Manoa cars, and couldn't tell who the other one was. JT Bryant leads the way. I'm going to have to pause for just a quick commercial break. We'll be right back. You won't miss a bit of the action. Lap 22 just completed. Lap 23 goes on the board. JT Bryant continuing to lead the way. His only win this season, as mentioned, came back at race 3 at Las Vegas. And that is the only win to date for Young Motorsports. Joshua Michaels in second. Trent Dunham now looking for third underneath James Richardson. You got John Art there in the 5th position. These 5 all close together. Then it's about a little over 1.8 seconds back to Austin LaPlante running in the 6th spot. JT Bryant, for him, it's going to be too little too late in regards of winning the Hersheys Cup Series Championship, but he obviously would like to be able to pick up a second win this season. Matter of fact, if JT Bryant wins here tonight, his one win this season came before the All-Star race here in Season 1, so a win tonight would lock him up in the All-Star race next season. You better look at his rearview mirror, though, because here comes Joshua Michaels. The Aspen Dental Chevrolet went to victory lane in the tribute race at Pocono. One of 5 drivers outside the top 35 in the points that has a victory. Best battle on track is going to be going on for 3rd place. James Richardson has it. Trent Dunham wants it. Right now, the only driver in the top 5 that doesn't have a win so far this season is that 24 of John Art. Closest he's gotten to victory lane, race 1. Daytona International Speedway, the Daytona 500. He finished 2nd. Right now, the highest running of the championship chase drivers is Joshua Lee. One of 2 drivers that came into this chase without a victory. Made it via top 10 in the points due to consistent finishes. Right now running in the 8th position, the next highest running chase driver is right there, Jeremy Jones in the 11th. For the most part, the only 2 drivers that really got through our big wreck on the front straightaway were 5 of Lee and the 18 of Jones. Now Kean Eddington is still hanging tough. Right now scored in the 15th position, but he does have damage, as you can visibly see there, on the hood of his whitetail Chevrolet. And I'm going to have to cough for a minute. I beg your indulgence. Fighting a bug of some kind here. I don't know exactly what it is. There's Circuli. And Circuli right now is running in the 18th position, even though he is a lap down. As a matter of fact, we only have 17 drivers on the lead lap. Circuli is the first car 1 lap down. And we have a total of 4 championship competitors still on the lead lap. The 5 of Lee, the 18 of Jones, the 33 of Eddington, and the last driver on the tail end of the lead lap is Rocco Twyman. There you see him right there. Well, actually, no, there are 2 drivers on the tail end of the lead lap, Twyman and Mason Powers. And then you got to go quite a ways back through traffic before you get to the leader, JT Bryant. So it would be quite a while before he caught up to those 2. They're running right now in the tail end of the lead lap in 16th and 17th position. The rest of our championship competitors right now are running. Tim Walsh right now 2 laps down in the 25th position. Got to go a long ways down before you find Noah Cars. He is 9 laps down in 31st. And then the rest of our championship competitors are out of this race. Anthony McCurry 35th, Blaine Keys 37th, Benjamin Miles in 39th, and Jake Baskinger in 41st. Seems like the battling's going on more for the 2nd position than it is for the lead. They actually were gaining some ground on the Pennzoil Ford of JT Bryant, but now as they battle for second place, they're going to start losing touch with him. Kind of interesting, too. We got a couple of the new Ford Fusions running well here at this speedway track. Now, the win that JT Bryant picked up in Las Vegas was when Young Motorsports was running the Dodge Dart. Right now, the 6 car in one of the new Ford Fusions and the 22 in one of the the new Ford Fusions, they are right now running inside the top 3. Daniel Voiles just ahead for JT Bryant to have to deal with. We'll have to see as JT Bryant is reeling in traffic. Pichu Lennon, Cooper Siren, Chris Dowd just ahead as well. If JT Bryant will have some difficulty getting around these cars, and if so, that might bring second on back through 5th, knocking on his back door. As a matter of fact, Joshua Lee just made a pass for position on Austin LaPlante. He got reeled in and bypassed for 6th place by Sam McMillan, 7th place by Joshua Lee, and now he'll try going back for that 7th spot off the Quicken Loan Chevrolet. Jeremy Jones has picked up some spots. He's now moved up into the top 10 in 9th place. Battle going on for 10th. Dylan Poteet takes that away from Dallas McIntosh. Battle still on for 2nd place. Richardson with the crossover move back to the inside of Joshua Michaels. Here comes Trent Dunham. JT Bryant getting around the 26 of Daniel Voiles. Also putting Cooper Siron in his rearview mirror. These drivers are all off the lead lap at this point in time. The first car that he would catch that's still on the lead lap would be the 44 of Mason Powers. Actually, no, it would actually be the 11 of Rocco Twyman, who you can see is just about a full straightaway ahead of JT Bryant. Bryant right now riding behind the 21 car of Pichu London. London going to move to the outside line, not fight JT Bryant and let him on by. Next car for JT Bryant will be Chris Dowden, and just ahead his teammate in the 2, Dylan Young. Now keep in mind, JT Bryant, Dylan Young, they've gotten into each other quite a bit here this season, as recently as South Boston. So it's going to be interesting to see here if JT gets up to his teammate Dylan Young's back bumper. What's Dylan Young going to do as they work their way around the slower machines of Holden Gluba and Daniel Bouchard, who have been just trying to log laps along with the 42 of Noah cars. They keep coming to pit road, trying to repair damage, trying to keep up to minimal speed, so that way they don't get black flagged and disqualified by NASCAR. Or by NSRA, whichever. We got both officials here, and both sets of officials, not necessarily top of their class in the intelligence department. But anyway, JT Bryant with a nice little cocoon, if you will, between himself and 2nd place, who have now disposed of Daniel Voiles, but he's got Pichu Lennon and Cooper Siron between himself and the 2nd place driver of Richardson, as Voiles scrapes the wall trying to get out of the way of these lead lap cars. At the line, 1.7 seconds separate JT Bryant from James Richardson. More importantly, though, Richardson's in a fight for 2nd place with Joshua Michaels, and there are 2 other lap machines. Make it 3 now, as Chris Dowd will fall off another lap to JT Bryant. Between JT Bryant and 2nd place. And JT, is he coming to pit road? Yes, he is. The 22's coming to pit road. Mason Powers also in. And the lead will cycle over to Richardson. And there you see Jeremy Jones, Sean Galligan. They're making pit stops. Sam McMillan, he's coming in along with Austin LaPlante. Dylan Poteet just finishing up his pit stop. Powers out. Here comes Dallas McIntosh to pit road. So the new leader is the 6 of Richardson, and now with about 4 laps to go when they hit the stripe, now the question is someone going to try and risk it and stretch it on fuel? There's a car in the wall just up ahead there. Couldn't tell who that was. That might have been Cooper Siron. And now Richardson gives up the lead. He's coming to pit road. Here comes Joshua Michaels as well. Dylan Young, Rocco Twyman, they're coming in. Twyman just on the tail end of the lead lap. Here comes Joshua Lee, highest running chase driver so far tonight. And here comes Ryan Madden in the 88. Lead cycles over to the 24, and the 18 of Jeremy Jones is back on pit road. I think the 31 was back on pit road too. They must have had some kind of penalty. William Brock also on pit road here, and it looks like John Arndt will now come to the pit lane. So will Trent Dunham. And if my calculations are correct, the lead then should cycle back to JT Bryant unless John Arndt's team can nail this pit stop. So tough break there for Dylan Poteet. and Jeremy Jones both having to come in and serve some kind of a penalty. There you see Poteet still sitting in his pit stall. But more importantly for Jones, he's a competitor for the championship. You know, this might be testy coming off pit road. A slower machine on the inside of John Arndt. How hard are they going to race each other? Trent Dunham side by side with Holden Gluba coming off pit road too. We're looking for the yellow car of JT Bryant. Was not passed yet. Let's see where he is. There he is. Just coming into shot, and I think he's going to bypass John Arndt and go back to the lead. Arndt trying to get around that number 4 car, but the 4 car is slow, and that's going to allow JT Bryant via the high line to take the lead back. White flag will be displayed this time. Pit stops in the closing stages of this race, but obviously the dominant car of the day is going to win. It appears JT Bryant, one more lap around. Now goes to the inside of Rocco Twyman, who's now up to 16th place. Was the last car on the lead lap, but not going to be for long. JT trying to clear him. John Arndt trying to reel him in. James Richardson there in 3rd place, but they got a lap machine to deal with before they could even catch JT Bryant. And he's been so strong, I don't think they're going to be able to close up the gap. Out of turn 3 and 4 for the final time. What a dominating performance by JT Bryant. His 2nd Speedway win of the season. He'll take the checkered flag here tonight at Chicagoland. He's won this season in a Dodge Dart, and now he's won in a Ford Fusion. And JT Bryant becomes a 2-time winner in the Hersheys Cup Series. Maybe just one race too late, as if he'd won his 2nd race last week, he'd have definitely been in the hunt for the championship and in the chase. But too little too late, but he will end the season at least a 2-time winner in Season 1 of the Hersheys Cup Series. John Arndt, not certain how much of a fight he'd been able to put up, but that 4 car of Daniel Bouchard really messed up his chances coming off pit road. Richardson will get 4th place for Joshua Michaels. Trent Dunham there in 5th. Those 5 stayed in the top 5 all night long. Sam McMillan, great run for that go-or-go-homer in 6th. Joshua Lee will be the highest finishing chaser in 7th. How about Sean Galligan? Great run for that go-or-go-homer as well. In 8th place, Kean Eddington, he managed to finish in 9th, and finishing 10th was the 46 of Chris Dowd. So a couple of surprises up there in the top 10. Dowd and Galligan for the finish of this race. Only 14 car finished on the lead lap. Mason Wood finished 11th, Pichu London in 12th, Cooper Syra in 13th, and Mason Powers finished in 14th place. So it looks like we had 4 of our championship competitors finish inside of the top 15 tonight. Jeremy Jones, that penalty costing him. He finishes out the evening in 19th place. Tim Walsh actually moved up to 22nd, only 1 lap down. Same for Joshua Circulate, 23rd place. So we'll see if they've been able to salvage something here tonight. And how about Dylan Poteet? Just now, that penalty over for the 31 car, and he finished 3 laps down in the 31st position. Noah Cars finishing 29th. Now we already documented the chase competitors out of the race. The points were so close coming into this race, I have no idea who's going to be the points leader heading into next week. But I do know where we are heading next week. We're going short track racing at Taylor Swift Superdome. It's kind of like an enlarged Bristol. Should be a lot of beating and banging, and we'll see who's going to survive that race and who's going to be able to continue one step forward towards this season's championship in the Hersheys Cup Series. Thank you all so much for watching. Congrats once again to JT Bryant on his 2nd win of the season. If you enjoyed tonight's race, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe, become part of the crew today. Just letting you guys know, I don't know how soon the next race is going to be out. Depends on how I feel tomorrow, whether I feel like recording or not. Tonight I was kind of okay. Tomorrow I may feel worse, so you may not get a race for a couple of days. I beg your indulgence on that. But anyway, once again, thanks everybody for watching. We'll show you now your full finisher results as well as your point stands heading into next week at Taylor Swift Superdome. As you've been watching a production of the NNSCRA Offline Racing at its Best. Good night from Chicago.